I got it. I forgot to see if we had any comments.
I bet phone will come up.
100%. No comments. Phew.
Come on, man.
Well, we're at 1100.
We've got
12.
19. That's weird. It says 24. Oh, that's last week. We got some problems going here.
We got 18.
Oh God.
What'd you do?
Oh God. We're gonna be a few minutes later.
Why did you do that?
I didn't mean to. Oh, it's gonna shut down the live feed too. Oh, we're in trouble.
I'll fix it. I mean, I'll tell everybody what's going on.
Be 5 minutes late.
You want to do something about that? We can't have that happening.
I got mad. Hey, that's a capital J. Come on. At least we got it all going on the YouTube.
I probably should have sent that directly to Stockton because I think he's the only person watching us.
LMS, if you're watching the TV show.
Can we do that?
No.
Why?
Oh, goodness gracious.
I want to do it.
Okay, we're coming, sure enough.
I'm doing it.
We might just be on the Spreaker this 30 minutes.
Why?
Because it'll take me a few minutes to set that one thing back up fast. I'll get Spreaker going and you come back and I'll get us going live.
Okay. We're only 1 minute late.
Yeah, right now.
I mean, what did you do to make it go off?
I hit it real hard.
It doesn't make any sense.
Well, it made me mad.
But man, I don't know why we turned it off.
I had a lot of blunt force. Well, that's nice. They remembered my thing.
What?
The Firefox opened up where it was.
That's what it does for you. The user says, oops.
You see with that? Oh, is this gonna work? Oh, maybe not. Man, that'd be handy if that just went back for me. Oh, it is. Oh, look at that. Wow. That's handy. Well, we're back live. Just need to get the Spreaker going, and this is what frustrated me here. I'm not gonna get mad this time. I'm just gonna gently hit allow. Thank you.
Alright, we back.
Hold on. I'm gonna get us going here.
Music.
Oh, sugar maples. There ain't no use.
Pick one.
I'm working on it.
Pick a random one. Bad Music Saturday. Allie brag like our status.
Alright, well, we're back with the fourth and final segment of the TD show today.
Having a rough time.
We experienced a little bit of technical difficulties during that break there, so we're not going to have any intro music for you this round, but
maybe we'll get some exit music before we leave.
Yeah, we're still here. Alright, before we left, I told you my guarantee for the week that there wouldn't be no P5 or P6 penalties this season in NASCAR. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the penalties here. This came out this week. The playoff changes, or the chase changes, came out 2 weeks ago. This came out this week. NASCAR changing the penalty format for this coming season. P1 is multiple warnings for minor technical infrastructures. Could include last choice of pit selection, loss of track time, being selected for post-race inspection, blah, blah, blah. Pretty minor there, no big deal. P2, expiration of certain safety certifications or improper installation of a safety feature or minor bracket and fastener violations. This one's a little bit bigger deal. Already here at P2, you see a loss of 10 points or $10,000 to $25,000 fine, which nobody's going to want either.
Right.
Already you don't want either of those at P2. P3, unauthorized parts, measurement failures, parts that fail their extended use or coil spring violations. With that one you'll see 15 points or a $20,000 to $50,000 fine. P4, devices that circumvent NASCAR templates and measurements. 25 points, 40 to 70,000. And then the P5 and 6 I talked about, you'll actually lose a win in the chase standings. You'll lose all your points from that, and you can get from $75,000 to $200,000 fine. So
and those are all for adding things to make your motor more powerful than it should be by the NASCAR standards. And it says additives in the oil or the fuel and different things. They have pretty strict standards about the horsepower they want you to be running to try and make it.
And I think we saw it one race. I think maybe two. We saw it with Brad last year, one race, and then we saw it with somebody else. I want to say it might have been Logano. I can't remember. We saw it 2 times last year. But with this new penalty system, I can't imagine anybody would risk that and run the chance of losing all those points in the standings. But moving on from NASCAR, real quick, I know we're running out of time this Saturday. Talk a little bit of college basketball. A couple of hours after we went off there last week, we saw the first game of what's going to be a Duke-Syracuse rivalry in the ACC. And it was everything you could hope for in a game. An excellent game. It was close all the way through. We saw Solomon hit the 3 at the buzzer to force overtime. Duke got into a lot of foul trouble, but they really shot the ball well from outside, which is what you got to do against Syracuse to have a chance with the zone they run. And I'm not sure how it works. Louisville will come into the ACC this offseason. And this year I know Duke plays Syracuse at Syracuse and then at home. I'm not sure if they'll play them twice after that or if it'll be split between the two. But either way, that is a rivalry that has the makings of growing into one of the biggest in college basketball. Ever been as big as Duke in North Carolina.
Well, I don't know. Duke and North Carolina are in the same state, so I think it's going to have a little bit more pull. But if you look at the talent level that Syracuse brings versus what North Carolina's had the past few years, Roy Williams' program has been way down. Syracuse is, I don't think they've hit their pinnacle as far as how much talent they're going to have and that they're at the peak of where they're going to be as a program. I think they're still on the upswing. Duke has obviously stayed relevant for the past 50 years or so, and you know they've had times when they're down, but they're up again this year, and they're starting to get more first-round guys than they have. They've been a team that you would be slow for 2 years, and then you'd have 2 really good years, and then you'd be slow for 2 years, you have 2 really good years. And right now they're picking up, say, 3 people that are going to stay 4 years and be starters for 4 years, and then 1 to 2, and, you know, 1 and done or 2 and done players, which I think is a pretty good combination to keep you fresh and active, but also have you know, that culture and the experience that comes with having 4-year guys. So I think they've actually struck the balance pretty well. Duke has, and so I think they're going to continue to be an exciting team to watch. And Syracuse, we know what it's like when they play at home. We know they've got the biggest stadium to play in, and it's
some of those people that were at that game, no way they could see the game. I mean, you were at an angle where you were looking past some bleachers down in a court that was a football field away.
Yeah,
it was crazy. But I think another compelling part of it, right now at least, is Boeheim and Coach K coaching against each other. You know, you got them coaching the Olympic team together, and they both got over 900 wins. I think that adds another part of it, seeing those 2 great coaches go at each other.
I agree.
Last week we had talked, I bashed on Louisville a little bit for getting beat by Cincinnati. But what we've seen is that this Cincinnati team is pretty legit.
Especially at home.
Yeah, they're allowing,
Cincinnati and Indiana have this thing going where they're about 15 to 20 points better at
Right.
home.
and one of the things we're seeing at home, Cincinnati is allowing less than 1 point per possession at home. I mean, that's absurd.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, I mean, even though they're playing in this new American Athletic Conference, I believe it's called, which most of the good teams that were in the Big East went elsewhere, and that
Kind of left them there, and then
yeah,
and
most
then
of the
it's gonna
mediocre
be even-
teams.
It's going to be gone entirely again next year, I think. So.
Right. So, I mean, even though they're playing in a conference that's not real legit, I believe they are.
Right.
And something else we saw this week, college basketball, Arizona gets beat by Cal, and then they end up beating Baylor there at the end by 2 points. Don't think they're near as good as we thought they were.
Yeah,
And we see that with teams a lot out west there in the Pac-12.
Yeah, they can get on big runs early in the season, and then when it comes to crunch time, they don't look near as good. Now, I did watch the Iowa State game. Did you watch any of that? It went into 2 overtimes. That was a pretty good game.
I didn't see it. I didn't see the end of it. I caught part of the game earlier, but I turned it off. I thought it ended up going 3, but maybe
It might have been the 3rd overtime. I can't remember now. I was trying to get the
But
exact
part of the
stats on
thing with Arizona is I feel like ever since they won that national championship in '96 or '97, they've done this a lot where you think they're really good, and the closer you get to the end of the season, they
fall apart.
They fall
and,
apart.
I mean, you notice they did this last year, or 2 years ago they did this, and they got put in a very high seed in the tournament. We thought they were going to be good, and then they just kind of imploded. And that's not just an Arizona trend. That's more of a West Coast trend. I think post UCLA, that's what we've seen. We've seen a lot of hype and a lot of people looking and hoping that this could be the Western team that comes back and brings some glory.
Not to have an East Coast bias, but there's not as many good teams out west. So if you see a good team, I think you try to build them up for better than they are.
Because we've got half of our population lives out there, and we want them to be good.
Right.
It's just not happening.
The Iowa State, that was against Oklahoma State, is that right?
Yep.
That, I believe, is going to be a very good ball club come March. I believe Travis Ford doing
I
an
agree.
excellent
Travis
job with
Ford,
that team.
gosh, he's such a good coach. I mean, just the way he handles himself, the way he manages games, and the type of situations he plays in. He is an actual coach. He's not he sets offenses. He calls plays that have relevance to what's going on, and I really do think it's doing pretty good.
So I'm going to ask you a question, kind of off the wall here. If Coach Cal leaves and goes to the Knicks, who's the next coach of UK? Travis Ford?
I'd like to say Travis Ford.
I made this point on Twitter last week, and I was told that a lot of people have been told that he's burned bridges at UK to where he can't get the job. But if I was a UK fan, he's the man that I would want for the job.
We're about to have some static here. I'm trying to test something out. I'm sorry if my static bothers anybody. We've heard we had some issues with our audio. Do you have the mic on, TJ?
Well, I believe we do. We can we'll check her out here.
I'm not picking up audio either. Lindsay Hubbard was trying to listen to us. Said she was not getting any audio.
How about the Spreaker? Is Spreaker getting audio?
I'm not getting any audio on our live feed as well. Let me go to our Spreaker and see what we got here. We're sorry for we had a computer crash on us earlier. Let's see what's going on now.
What?
Yeah, Lindsay. If you're watching us live and you're not getting any audio, you can click on the listen live button and you will be able to hear us.
You can try refreshing the browser. I don't know if it's going to help.
I'm sorry that they were having this issue, but you can hear us live. You just might not be able to see us and hear us live at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, you could watch us and not hear us and then listen to us on the Spreaker app.
Yeah, but if you look right below the video there at the listen live, that is working. So I'm sorry for any trouble we're having. We're trying to get it all worked out, and hopefully we'll.
Like I said,
right.
it's just us here. No tech team.
But
back to UK. Back to
Right.
UK. Would you want Travis Ford?
Yes, I love to have Travis Ford in Kentucky. I don't. Now here's what Kentucky fans are going to have to realize: when Travis Ford comes to Kentucky, your recruiting classes are going to look a lot different than they look right now. Kentucky's still going to be able to draw some of those big name players, but we're not going to be getting 5 of them at a time because that's not how Travis Ford coaches.
You don't need 5 of them at a time to win.
No, but you're going to have to accept the fact that for 2 years, until you get built back, you're not going to be very good. You're going to take 2 years and you're going to be less good because you're going to grow, and
what about
third
Tom
year things
Izzo?
going to be better.
He doesn't recruit the classes that Cal does.
And Tom Izzo has been through his 2 years, is what I'm saying.
Tom Izzo might not win 25 games every year, but he'll win 20, and then he'll make it to the Elite 8 every year in the tournament, no matter who he's got on his team.
That's true.
I mean, I like Tom Izzo. He's probably my favorite coach in college basketball. I have a lot of respect for him. I think he's an excellent coach. And I made the argument if I was UK, I would went after Tom Izzo instead of Coach Cal. Obviously, they both turned out to be good coaches. I just believe Tom Izzo is the pinnacle of college basketball coaching, especially when it comes March. But speaking of college basketball in UK, how about a little what to watch for our listeners today?
It's time for what to watch.
The first thing I've got for us to watch this week, and I've actually got a few more than normal, but the first thing I've got for us to watch this week is directly related to University of Kentucky basketball. They play Ole Miss today, 12:30 our time. It's 12:30 Central Time, 1:30 Eastern. Kentucky is 17-5 coming into this game, 7-2 in conference play. They're 1-3 on the road, 2-3 on the road. I'm sorry, and 1-2 in neutral sites. Who I want you to watch in this game is Willie Cauley-Stein. And you think, man, that's somebody I watch all the time, but it's not been the past three or four games. He's been really down. He's been slumping, scoring a couple points and fouling out and getting mad. The other night, he finally decided he was going to play against LSU. He came back and looked the best he's looked all season. Had 18 points, 11 rebounds, 6 blocks, and 2 assists in that game. Aaron had 16. Randall had 12. Pointers had 10. Young had 10. And Andrew had 9. So it was a great team effort, but that all started with Willie Cauley-Stein. When he actually becomes a force inside, that causes people not to be able to double team Randall every time he touches the ball down low. Creates a lot more matchup problems for other defenses. And if we can get Randall and Willie Cauley-Stein to play good, Randall usually doesn't have much trouble. But if Willie Cauley-Stein can stay on top of his game, they're going to be a lot harder to beat. A couple more things I'd like for you to watch this week. This one is probably going to be more of a long-term thing than this week, and that's Jadeveon Clowney's foot. We heard this week that he has been diagnosed with some bone spurs in his foot, and they've caused problems for him. He says he's not going to have surgery on it right now. If he gets drafted and the team would like for him to have surgery, then he will go ahead and do it. If it's up to him, he's going to wait until the off-season following his rookie season. He said the pain is not really there, but the doctors are telling him that it will continue to get more painful and could cause further damage. So we'll see how that affects him at all. I don't think it's going to affect him his 40 times or anything like that, and we'll see what happens with teams that draft him. Third thing is kind of a broad thing, but I'd like for you to watch Team USA in the Olympics. I've been looking up some stats, and in the last Winter Olympics in Vancouver, we brought home 37 medals, which is the most any team has ever brought home in an Olympics, winter or summer. What did you do?
I didn't do nothing. The internet went down. We're still live on YouTube, though. Keep talking. I'll try to fix the problem.
So I think that's something that we should all pay attention to. I've always rooted for the United States, no matter what it is. For whatever reason, we're having some internet issues right now. I know no one's listening to me.
It's been a rough morning, fellas.
We're going to try to fix this problem. YouTube listeners, you can just get to watch TJ work here. I'm going to sit here and not talk. We're good.
We are back on there.
We have to make a whole new segment
No, it's still running.
so they can hear me.
Yeah, you're live, buddy.
All right, sorry. It's been a rough morning. I don't know. I'm blaming this on SCRTC. I'm just kidding. They do a great job. They do a great job.
Don't say that.
We don't really know. It's bad luck this morning. What I was saying is we need to watch the Olympic teams. I think we could break our own record of 37 golds and then bring home more gold medals than's ever been brought home in a summer or winter Olympics. So that's the 3 things I've got. Watch Willie Cauley-Stein, watch Jadeveon Clowney's foot, see if that causes any more trouble, and watch the Olympics. And you'll have a pretty good, fully loaded week of sports.
I just want to touch on one more professional sport before we talk hunting, talk local sports. MLB, we saw Freddie Freeman get paid this week. 8 years,
Finally.
$135 million. Is that too much?
Not at all. I think Freddie Freeman is the leader of this team. He's a young kid, but he is the leader of this Atlanta Braves team, both physically on the field and in his stats and in spirit. He's someone that everybody likes, gets along with everybody on the team very well. His stats have been great over the past 2 years. We know next year they're going to have to pay up again if they want to keep Jason Hayward, but I'm glad that they went out and spent the money and kept Freddie Freeman. We lost some key parts this year when we let McCann go. We've been trying to build a team, and I think that Freddie Freeman is the guy that you want to build your team around. That being said, what about Joey Votto? He's got a big contract.
Yeah, the thing is, this is what I was thinking, Joey Votto signed for 10 years and $225 million before these TV contracts. Yeah. Which they kind of had the TV contracts in mind when they signed him. They knew that money would be coming in. But obviously, I don't think Freddie Freeman's the player that Joey Votto is. But for $135 million versus $225, I think it's a pretty good deal for the Braves. Deal,
exactly.
Especially because I've spoken about this trend that we're going to see. I think all above average players are going to get paid. They're going to get a lot of money because there's going to be so much more income coming into every team because of these TV deals.
Yeah, and Freddie Freeman is the kind of guy that would want to stay in Atlanta. He has friends there. Him and Chris Johnson are big buddies, and I think Chris Johnson's going to get his money next year and stay with the Braves again.
And Chipper Jones.
Chipper Jones, we know, rescued him from the snowstorm that apparently was so crippling to people. But we know he came and got him with his four-wheeler, and he just has a lot of friends there. He's a very likable guy. A lot of people like Freddie Freeman, and I think both the fans and players on the team, I'm glad they're keeping him around, and I think that's a great deal. $13.5 million. They're going to sell $13.5 million worth of Freddie Freeman jerseys every year, and they're going to pay for that easy.
Something else we saw come down yesterday, it got released about 4 o'clock on a Friday, which is what you want to do when you want to release something when you don't want it to be talked about a lot. A-Rod came out and said, I'm dropping all my lawsuits. I'm going to take the suspension.
Okay.
And we'll see what we're going to do. Our live feed audio should be working now if you're listening to us on Spreaker and you want to go there and watch us and listen to us.
One of our listeners said it's not working on their phone. I'd say you try to close your phone browser and bring it back up because it is working on our computers here now.
I've heard that the reason A-Rod did this is because he wants some sort of role in a team or in the players' union doing something when he retires.
Yep.
And at this point, it would seem like he's probably already burned a lot of bridges, but at least he dropped it. He's going to take the suspension. He'll be back. I don't think anybody really wanted it to keep going.
Yeah, I think this is the smartest thing A-Rod's done in a long time. From the beginning, everyone said this lawsuit was stupid. It was costing him a lot of money, and it wasn't going to get him anywhere.
Had a baseball team worth of attorneys.
Yeah, it was not going to be productive. He was not going to get anything out of it, and I'm glad that he dropped it. Now, can he turn his legacy around? I don't think so. I don't think that he's the guy that you want representing you if you're the players. I don't think he's the guy you want working in your office if you are a major league team.
Right.
That being said, that doesn't mean there's not a job out there for him. He does a lot of good things in a lot of Latin American countries, and I think that he could be your team's ambassador to some Latin American country if he wants to get stuck on the payroll, do something like that. I would let him do that.
Well, he might need the money now. Even though he's earned $400 million or something playing baseball, but no telling how much he spent on the attorneys in this whole process.
Exactly. I think that it was estimated that this appeal or this suit that he was going to file was going to cost him $25 million. That was just for the suit that he actually ended up dropping, and maybe he got a financial advisor that told him, look, it is not going to pay off.
All right, so we've covered the collegiate sports and the professional sports. We're going to move to a little local sports now. Just quick hunting tip. There's going to be hunter education classes offered at Cumberland County on February 20th through the 22nd. I didn't write down the exact times, but if you get on the Kentucky Fish and Wildlife Department's website, you can see the times there. Just something for kids to go to.
And adults. If you are an adult born after I think it's 1975, maybe. You have to have a hunter's
Yeah.
permit, hunter's orange card. You can buy a 1-year exemption, but if you haven't got one and you want to hunt, you need to go out there and do that. If nothing else, I mean, it's pretty educational. It's a pretty good time if you like to.
And it's not a complete bore. I mean,
No.
especially if you're the kid. I mean, it's a pretty cool experience.
I mean, even if you don't have a kid, find a kid and take him with you.
There you
It'll
go.
be worth it.
Kind of like a big brother's little sisters,
Big brothers, big sisters,
whatever.
I think. But yes.
Yeah. But moving, as we generally do, from the outdoors to the kitchen, how about 2 minutes with Paula Dan?
Gonna throw on a big slab of beef.
What do you have for us today, Dan?
Now this recipe that I'm about to give you has served me very well throughout my 25 years of life. And
I've ate it a few times.
And it's top secret, so you ought to be glad that I'm giving this to you. It's the Daniel Bragg special tuna fish recipe. It's unlike any tuna fish you've ever eaten before. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the recipe for 1 can of tuna. If you want to do 10 cans, you just multiply it
Who
by
eats
10.
just 1 can?
It-
Are we
it's
little,
gonna be
little
some-
girls here?
But it's completely exponentially, it works. You just multiply everything I'm giving you by whatever number of cans you want to do. So what you do is you get you 1 can of tuna fish.
Well, you get more probably. Just
You take 1 can of tuna fish, open the can, do not drain the juice. Take the whole thing, dump it in a cup or bowl.
don't dump the juice.
No, dump the juice into the bowl.
Okay.
Get you 8 to 10 saltine crackers, crumble them into powder. Allow that to fall into your tuna fish. Also, get you 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise or Miracle Whip. TJ prefers Miracle Whip. I'm a mayonnaise man. Heaping tablespoons, not just I want it to be falling off the edges.
Something you can add more later.
Yeah, slap that down in there. 2 for each can. Boil 1 egg. You probably should have boiled this prior to starting because it's going to take you about 15 minutes. Boil an egg, chop that sucker up. Take you a whole pickle, a whole round pickle. Chop that into little chunks.
What kind of pickle?
You can use dill or sweet. I prefer dill.
Bread and butter.
Bread and butters, yeah, but I prefer dill. But you use whole because that gives you more of a crunch and a little more juice in that pickle when you bite into it. And then 1 slice of onion per can of tuna fish. 1 slice, about 1/8 of an inch thick of onion. Dice that up.
I didn't know
1
that
slice
part.
per can. Throw that in there. You mix all that together. If you're feeling a little fancier, you take a bun and toast it and eat it on a bun. That is the best tuna fish you will ever eat. Guaranteed. You heard it from me.
There you go. There's 2 minutes with Paula Dan.
Just right after Paul Dan, I just got notified here that the high school games have been canceled tonight. The girls were supposed to play at 2:30, and then the boys JV was going to play at 4:30, and the boys varsity was going to follow that. So they're not going to be playing tonight. I just got word from Coach Fred and from Terry Clemens, wife of Coach David Clemens, that there won't be any games tonight due to the weather. It's snowing pretty good out there, so everybody be safe, and hopefully we'll get caught back up and play some of these games next week. I really miss getting to see that. I didn't get to go last night to the games. They did have the games, but I didn't get to make it, and I really like to see the boys and girls play again.
Well, speaking of the boys and girls team, let's just go ahead and finish with them today. They played Russell County last night. District opponent. Boys lost 83-47. 3rd game in a row they've allowed exactly 83 points, and they've scored less than 60. So in a little bit of a slump there. And Campbellsville was a team that they were probably looking forward to playing tonight. 2-19 on the year. You got to think you got a chance to beat up on them a little bit.
Maybe we'll make. I don't know if we'll make those non-district games up or not.
Yeah,
I'd like
Edmonson
to.
County was canceled Tuesday night. It's not up on the KHSAA website to be made up. But if anybody's got any insight on that, let us know. The boys will play Tuesday night at home against Glasgow, who we know they only lost by 2.
We know what happened last time they played. Great game. I'm looking forward to that. Can't wait to see the boys and girls play Glasgow at home. I think we know the Glasgow girls went on to win the Class A state tournament, but our girls sure put up a fight against them just as our boys did.
Right.
I really, really, really want people to come out to this game. I want us to fill up the gym. I mean, I've been in that gym before when it is full. For regular season basketball games, it's something that Meghead King fans are capable of doing. I really think you won't be disappointed if you come out and support these boys and these girls.
Speaking of the Glasgow girls, they're 19-6 on the season, and as you said, they won Class A state, and we only lost to them by 9 in
And that
Class
was
A.
a expanded 9.
And-
It was more like 4 in
Right.
the foul they got tonight.
But the most they ended up the least they ended up winning by during the whole tournament, 7 points. So we were right there with any team they played.
Yep.
But coming back to the boys.